All right, there, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, welcome again to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast, a place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, I am your host, King Von Jr. You can follow me on social media on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. I'm also a social media producer for the unpopular Beat Wrestling show for Perfect Plex Talk Radio. I host by Mike Knox on Mondays at 6 p.m. And so, like I said, it's definitely going to be a really early show just because I have somewhere else to go. Of course, later on this evening, the NBA draft party to go to. Full disclosure, so I just wanted to go ahead and get this out the way because there's a lot to cover and get off my chest, and then certain stuff that that I forgot to mention last week as well. So when it comes to of course the weekend wrestling is the weekend wrestling such as SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. Also, I'm going to talk about like that amazing concert last week for Kendrick Lamar. Ken and Friends on Juneteenth, as well as Marvel vs. Capcom return, and my thoughts about it since we're talking about games anyway, right? And also rest in peace to Sika from the Wild Samoans. One of the most influential and innovative tag teams of all time. You know what I mean? And like I said, that was a huge loss, and he'll be sorely missed. My prayers go out to Roman and his family, the Anwani family. My thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to all of them. During such a devastating time, and so I feel like death comes in threes. From Jerry West to Willie Mays to Sika, you know what I mean? And it's just like it's too much to get hit with all at the same time. And of course, for those that watch by way of YouTube, please make sure to go to youtube.com/@VonWestVirginia. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more great content. So of course, without further ado, I'm gonna present the weekend wrestling. Starting off with SmackDown, of course, and there's a lot to unpack when it comes to SmackDown. So of course, this week's show took place in Chicago, hometown of Chicago-made Punk, CM Punk himself. You know what I mean? So of course, as far as the rundown, some of the main things that happened were that the Punk returned to SmackDown. We had Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga versus Carmelo Hayes in a triple threat match for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Then we have another triple threat with Chelsea Green versus Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim, another Money in the Bank qualifier. We also have Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller versus Andrade, Money in the Bank qualifier. So we have 3 qualifying matches, all triple threat. LA Knight confronting Logan Paul, and then Cody Rhodes reacted to the Bloodline's attack. And of course, the biggest, like I said, after that, we're going to talk about, like the biggest bombshell, the biggest surprise and debut, that we've had on SmackDown in quite a while, and another huge, bonus to the Bloodline. So of course, we see CM Punk make his highly anticipated SmackDown return in front of the Chicago crowd after cheated Drew McIntyre out of the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash of the Castle. And so of course, that was a video recap showing footage from Clash of the Castle where Punk made his way to a huge pop, obviously, to the Chicago crowd. He's a hero over there, folk hero, if you will. I mean, he's obviously a real, a major deal. And of course, spent a few minutes shaking everybody's hand and running around the ring, of course, before he got him to speak. And so he was talking about, how he was glad to get revenge with Drew McIntyre. After the Scottish Warrior, Scottish psychopath warrior, had months of trash talk about cheating Punk out of being at WrestleMania, taking him out of the main event, and that was definitely a creative shift when it came to the WrestleMania card. Of course, eventually Paul Heyman arrived, and Punk was surprised to see him after all this time. And of course they embrace each other. Heyman was just taken back by that Punk return after 10 years, and so of course he said he was doing him a favor, but wanted him that the Bloodline would attack him if he didn't leave. So of course, the new Bloodline Wolfpack, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa came out and told Punk to respect the Bloodline and get taken out. And it's very interesting that the Punk's first interaction with the Bloodline is when Roman is not there. You know what I mean? And so of course, him also Punk leaves. He wants to go with him. And CM Punk stood his ground. And so Cody Rhodes showed up with some baseball bats and he issued challenges to Solo that was of course accepted. And of course, it was a great segment. And Paul Heyman's just completely on a whole nother level. Of course, it's definitely most excited that Punk had looked for a long time. And of course, Punk's, Heyman's crowd reaction to Pop was just about as loud as CM Punk's. And so there's even a bigger swerve, later on in the night. We also have Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green versus Micha in a triple threat qualifying match, for women's qualifying match for Money in the Bank. And so of course, Chelsea Green was sound to the ring, so Nietzsche and the EST got an exchange, and then of course the battle only went a few minutes before another break, and so of course we missed some of the action. But then of course we obviously saw there were no allies in the ring, and nobody came to the ringside to help anyone cheat, so no trace of Piper Niven whatsoever, and of course very competitive between all three of them, and we go show what Chelsea can do outside of her character. And so, of course, Mia Yim and Chelsea Green with a stylish clash with Bianca was there to break up the pin. Of course, Chelsea Green stole the win by throwing Belair out the ring so she could pin Mia Yim after KOD. So it was a solid match. That was a very surprising outcome that Chelsea Green was the one to advance, and Bianca having back-to-back losses, first at Clash of the Castle, and then then it's qualifying match. So so of course, like her counter against Bianca's handspring, was pretty great, and so I was like, like I said, it was very, very surprising. And so that was not on my bingo card as far as Chelsea Green, getting one over Bianca Belair of all people. I mean, along with me and Yum too, but I'm just saying, still, to get that W on your resume is huge. So then we have right after that we have Carmelo Hayes versus Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga, and so of course during then this is where the swerve happens. Of course, McIntyre's revenge. During a backstage segment, we saw Drew McIntyre carrying an unconscious and bloody CM Punk into the arena, and he dumped his body on the stage and took one of Punk's bracelets as a souvenir. And so, of course, after the break, Carmelo and Hayes and Tonga were already in the ring, just waiting for Randy Orton to make his entrance for this qualifying match. Of course, Money in the Bank qualifier match. So Tama Tonga and Carmelo worked together for a moment, but that eventually fell apart when him tried to get a quick pin. Him talking about Carmelo Hayes. That's Melo's nickname. Of course, the Viper ended up giving both of them a suplex once he announced table after two unsuccessful attempts. And of course, I was a classic Randy Orton, sort of like a back suplex or whatever. He said inverted the timing drop once he announced table. So that he's been doing for years. He's even did that to Daniel Bryan before, as well as like J&J Security, or whoever. So that's definitely part of Randy Orton's, repertoire, if you will. And so the thing is, this match wasn't as energetic as Chelsea's win, as the Chelsea Green win, but they did a great job making it, feel very competitive. And so of course, Kevin Owens and Tonga Loa fought at ringside, and the distraction allowed Melo to roll up Randy Orton for a surprising victory. And so that was a major feather in Melo's hat. To get a pinfall victory over a legend and future Hall of Famer like Randy Orton, 14-time champion. So, so anything, like I said, that's huge. He's for him to qualify like that. So of course, Orton is pretty much like the measuring stick in the ring, and so so for Melo to get a pin over someone of that magnitude, it's pretty monumental for his career. And so of course, the Drew McIntyre guy was insane, especially with the way he assaulted someone who's a Chicago legend like CM Punk. And of course, Orton's table suplex was is definitely another one of his greatest hits these days. Outside of the RKO, the DDT through the ropes, things like that. So I think that Orton's pretty much added that to his greatest hits list as well. Then we have the triple threat match with Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens versus Andrade. Of course, the winner of this match and qualifying for the Money in the Bank is Andrade, as he defeated Waller and Owens. So of course, Andrade is the current WWE Speed Champion, and especially after Ricochet got injured and he's got forfeit. And of course, Wade Barrett's a very underrated commentator in his own right. Then we have Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, and of course, Cody won by DQ. And this was when we saw the arrival of Jacob Fatu. I was like this dude's definitely gonna take, definitely gonna take WWE by storm. And this is the one that we've been waiting for and anticipating the most when it came to the acquisition of the bloodline. Of course, we all know about Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, but there was something about Jacob Fatu that that ended up having the most expectations and the most hype. And so, okay, plenty of views on Twitter, or X, whatever. But yeah, like plenty of, I'm just saying, pretty good amount, especially for a time like this. So of course, and the way it happened though, of course, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa showed that cause DQ. Then Orton and Owens ran to the ring out to Cody, and then Solo laughed in the corner. As Jacob Fatu attacked, of course, came from behind and attacked Orton and KO and took her right over with a bunch of super kicks. And so he just watches the latest member, latest bloodline member absolutely destroy everybody. And I still do not think that Solo is the new tribal chief. I believe that that he's just there as a placeholder until The Rock makes his return. And so of course, obviously, it's definitely a throwaway. Not much to really write home about that. But of course, the biggest headline was the arrival of Jacob Fatu. And matter of fact, Karrion Kross was even warning everybody like Jacob Fatu is a monster. You definitely gotta watch your back for him. And so, so of course that's it when it comes to SmackDown. Now, when it comes to Monday Night Raw, as a matter of fact, that last week was the debut of the Wyatt Sick6. That's what they call it. And of course, with the way the ambush Chad Gable in the back, and it's like I said, just they're the new, terrifying faction these days, and how those Firefly Firehouse characters have definitely come to life. And I think that's Nikki Cross, who's part of the Wyatt Sick6, the Wyatt Sick6. Excuse me, I'm saying it right. But yeah, of course, we have a Money in the Bank ladder qualified match with Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. And then as far as another ladder qualifying match, that's for the men, but this one's for the women. Lara Valkyria versus Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. Then we have Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser. Kofi Kingston versus Karrion Kross. A non-title match, Caden Carter and Katana Chance versus Isla Dawn and Albert Fire. Of course, Drew McIntyre kicks off Raw, right on the heels of a beatdown of CM Punk in Chicago. Of course, he interrupted McIntyre interrupted Michael Cole's show and wasted a little time discussing what happened on Friday. So, of course, he reveled in attacking Punk and denouncing the fans who still gave CM Punk a chance, before revealing that he was going to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match. And of course, Drew even showed the bracelet they took from Punk's Wrestling Friday with the names AJ and Larry on it, and vowed to win a briefcase with his family by his side. So, so maybe Drew's going to be wearing that bracelet for the match. And the thing is, Drew McIntyre is going by leaps and bounds when it comes to his mic skills and just his Twitter game and just his pettiness. But he definitely spoke with conviction this time. And so, of course, he certainly believes everything he says. And of course, the best heels usually are the ones that they believe that they're right. And of course, McIntyre certainly believes that himself. And so, of course, it's very ironic that he's entered the Money in the Bank, given he's lost twice, lost both of his world titles to cash in. And so it's proving more opportunity for Punk to inject himself into the proceedings that's going to lead to a SummerSlam showdown, because eventually all roads for McIntyre versus Punk are going to be leading SummerSlam, especially since they couldn't do it at WrestleMania, obviously. And and of course, Michael Cole revealed at the top of the show that Pat McAfee was not there. And they would be joined by one commentary by one half of the tag team champions, The Miz. And so, and of course, my prayers and condolences go out to Pat McAfee's family because he just lost his father-in-law. So that's the reason. Of course, that's the reason why he couldn't make it on Raw. And so as far as that, McIntyre just went on a rampage saying, as far as I'm concerned, if you chant his name, you're dead to me. I was like, ooh, okay, then, wow. And then, of course, it goes on to say, I have your dog, I have your wife, I have your family in my corner now. And of course, that Drew was referring to the bracelet with AJ Lee's name and the dog's name on it. Excuse me. And of course, meanwhile, backstage, Chad Gable arrived and refused to get attention from the WWE cameras. He didn't want the cameras around him. And of course, surrounded himself with security as he entered the ring in just 1 week after being the most prominent victim of the Wyatt 6. So of course, following that, we have Braun Breaker versus Luke Kaiser. And of course, Kaiser defeated Braun Breaker via disqualification. And of course, sorry about that. But of course, the thing about it is of course, 1 week after turn Kaiser inside out with the spear, Braun Breaker wants to obliterate him for a second week in a row, as they would officially face off in singles action. So, of course, Ludwig was actually impressive in this match. But of course, Braun fought back this offense, but it was of course, it was Kaiser who ended up controlling the action later on. And of course, he set off to run around the ringside and slam Breaker's head into the ring steps. But of course, that's when Sheamus had rocked Kaiser, and of course, this led to a DQ, and that was just repaying Kaiser for what happened last week as far as interference. And of course, Braun Breaker cut off the powerbomb by Sheamus with the spear and stood tall to end out the segment. Just standing tall over Luke Kaiser. And of course, even though Kaiser won by DQ, but at the end of the day, Braun Breaker was the one who ultimately stand tall and have the last laugh. Then we have the triple threat women's Money in the Bank qualifying match: Valkyria versus Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. The winner of this one is Lyra Valkyria, and she advances for the women in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. So of course, then we have a Liv Morgan promo, and of course she hit the ring and once again looked to win over Dominic Mysterio, and she promised to follow up the gifts that she already gave with Daddy Dom with one more in front of the entire WWE universe. So it felt like she was alluding to like an Edge Lita live sex celebration. Kind of came up, rumors coming across that way. Then Zelina Vega interrupted and challenged Morgan to a match for the title on Monday night. Of course, Liv refused. So instead, she looked forward to next week before Dominic made his presence felt. And if you look at Dominic's fully grown mustache, I'm like, man, he's something got to grow that pretty quickly. Like Mr. Latino Heat, the new Latino Heat, if you will. And so of course the crowd's boos. Crowd's boos kept Dom from even being able to speak. And so meanwhile, there was just a fight between Liv and Zelina that just took place. Of course, Rey Mysterio interrupted and tried to stop Liv, only to be shoved to the mat by his son. And so of course, the segment also ended with Morgan following closely behind Dominic as he stormed off backstage, and so of course continues the Liv and Dirty Dom, Liv and Dirty Dom storyline. So of course, of course, as Dom is getting closer and closer to breaking under the constant Liv's constant advances. I think this, I've said before, this is going to be the great thing that's going to end up eventually breaking up the Judgment Day. It's going to be like this entanglement, if you will. And then, of course, they also set up Selena as the next challenger, presumably for next week's match, but possibly also for Money in the Bank. But either way, it was definitely a great spot for Selena to find herself in. And of course, with the element of the family feud between Ray and Dom, like I said, it's definitely going to be a great match itself. And then, of course, Selena had a huge highlight last year. It was a backlash against Rhea Ripley. So, of course, this could be Selena another shining moment for Selena this time. And of course, we have the Money in the Bank qualifier for the men. The Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. The winner of this match was actually Chad Gable. And so of course it's stop that. But but of course, yeah, backstage we have Liv Morgan trying to convince R-Truth to give JD McDonough, JD McBobblehead and Finn Balor a shot at the World Tag Team titles. And Miz stepped up from the commentary position, commentary booth, and of course rushed to stop it from happening. And so of course Chad Gable, he's like Chad Gable, he says Chad Gable cannot be killed. And so, of course, that's what he exclaimed, right before his technical issues messed up his graphics around ring suggestion may be out of danger because of what happened with the Wyatt 6. He feels like, that they're definitely after him. And so, like, and of course, Chad gave his power, which is, like, for his size, it's very underrated and definitely slept on for him to pick up, pick up guys like Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed. Like he's reminiscent of Kurt Angle, like Kurt Angle Jr. Of course, 1 week he fends off death, and next week is a super athlete. So of course, backstage, afterwards he tried to convince his former Alpha Academy teammates to reunite with him, but obviously that failed. And of course, Otis had to set it down. He was like, "Not gonna do it, not happening." So that's the end of Chad Gable with Alpha Academy. But of course, turn around to have find three brothers now by his side. So when one door closes, another door opens. And of course, we have Katana Chance and Ken Carter versus Isla Dawn and Alpha Fire. And of course, the winners of this match are Alpha Fire and Isla Dawn. I'm saying it right. Yes, like I said, Alpha Fire and Isla Dawn. And of course, we have Seth Rollins. Last week he made his return, and this week he comes back and interrupts Damian Priest, and of course he challenges Priest for the Royal Heavyweight title, saying that Damian was keeping the belt warm until he came back, and and really just calling him out, just saying that without Judgment Day, who are you really? You know what I mean? So of course, he's saying wouldn't be champion if it wasn't for Judgment Day and CM Punk. And of course, the segment reaches its pinnacle when Seth offered Damian an ultimatum. It was that if Priest retained the title, then the Rollins would never get a shot at the world title again. But if Rollins won, that means that Priest would have to leave the Judgment Day. So this could definitely be the very thing to spearhead Damian Priest's exit from the Judgment Day. So as far as that, and then of course, and then we have another Wyatt 6 video. I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? And of course, in the video, you have Uncle Howdy interviewing Bo Dallas. That's when I felt about the loss of Bray Wyatt. And of course, Bo said it was like losing the most important thing in his life. And of course, Bo Dallas said we made them remember. And of course, Uncle Howdy responded and said, yes, we did. So they're pretty much like one and the same, if you will. So of course, with that, it's very interesting. With the way they introduced Bo Dallas and play both the interviewer and Uncle Howdy himself. You know what I mean? So of course, where that's going is definitely up in the air. It was very effective. This definitely falls into the line of the art of storytelling. So like I said, as far as that, it definitely goes to the art of storytelling. Just as Mike Knox and I talked about on Monday on Perfect Plex. you know. And of course, like I said, Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, definitely masters the art of storytelling. Triple H is mastering the art of storytelling right now with, with the way he's running WWE, at this time. And so of course after that we have Karrion Kross versus Kofi Kingston, and of course Karrion Kross been looking for ways to break up the New Day, and of course, neither Kofi nor Karrion were accompanied to the ring for the match on Monday. So the next chapter is next chapter is going to be in Karrion's manipulation of Xavier Woods, and so of course, as Kofi, rolled late into the match, Paul Ellering showed up on the video and asked if it was worth it before the cameras caught the Authors of Pain attacking Xavier Woods, and so of course Karrion Kross took advantage of that distraction, delivers his finishing move, the final prayer for the win, and of course, pretty much that's pretty much what it was, and I mean, the story's kind of solid, but there's a lot that's missing, much like when it comes to like when it comes to Karrion Kross, it's just like there's something about him that's not really clicking. Well, we like I said when it comes to the fans, for whatever reason it is. I'm not exactly sure how to pinpoint it, but pretty much as far as that, and of course I think it's going to be like the biggest storyline of his career. You know what I mean? It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely carried, I guess, so it carries the most weight by his standards. In a storyline with pretty much Hall of Famers and legends like the tag team legends like the New Day. You know what I mean? So as far as that, and then we have the World Tag Team Championship match, Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day, and of course, surprisingly, Finn Balor and JD McBobblehead defeat Awesome Truth to win the title on an episode of Monday Night Raw. So that was a lot left to be desired. So I mean, to see that happen was incredibly surprising.
Taxpayer dollars. The chief of communication and engagement.
And so of course, as far as that concludes, Monday Night Raw, and so finally we're going to going to NXT, and so of course we have Chase U versus Idris Enofe and Malik Blade versus the Good Brothers, versus Legado del Fantasma versus Newcastle Republic for the NXT, and the NXT Tag Team Championship qualifying turmoil match. So of course, with all that being said, of course we see first off Newcastle Republic eliminate Idris Enofe and Malik Blade by pinfall, and then we have Newcastle Republic eliminating Legado del Fantasma by pinfall. Then we have Newcastle Republic eliminating the Good Brothers by pinfall, so they're definitely moving along. And we have Chase U ultimately winning all as they last eliminated Newcastle Republic by pinfall with Davin Cross fighting from Andre Chase or Tyler Doon, becoming the number one contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Of course, as far as that, then we have All Ego Ethan Page making his entrance and gets in the mic. Talks about he waving how Javon Evans has a title shot to win the Battle Royal. The problem is he won the Battle Royal that Ethan Page was never eliminated from. And the same night he pinned Javon Miller in the ring. So Ethan's like, so if you ask him to match, you scrap, and she get another title shot. But Ethan says he's going to keep it professional and invites April Rain to come out and change the main event. So April Rain comes out. She admits that that Ethan has a point. That he did pin Javon, and then Sean Spears comes out. Of course, Sean Spears apologized for the interruption. He doesn't want Ava making rash decisions, and he doesn't have a problem with Ethan, but he pinned Javon first. Of course, All Ego shuts him down and said he saw Evans toss Spears over the top rope. And of course, Sean says that Page can eliminate him. It's nice, but pin Trick Williams and make Ava's decision much easier. So then here comes Trick Williams. So of course tells Sean Spears to sit his goof down, and it tells Ava it doesn't matter who fights a heat wave, whether it's this bum Ethan Page, the young OG Javon Evans, or both of them, because Toronto's going to be chanting that, and then before he can get to his name, Sean Spears attacks him, and Ethan Page joins him, and of course it's stomping Trick out. And Javon Evans makes a save, and of course clears the ring as security arrives. And so of course we have, sorry about that. So of course we have Stevie Turner chatting with Robert Stone outside Ava Rain's office and talking about how they helped Ava out and how neither of them are going anywhere. And clearly they're doing a better job assisting her and generally managing NXT. We have Joe Coffey versus Wesley, and of course the winner of this match is the Cardiac Kid himself, Wesley, with the Cardiac Kid. And so of course after he beats Joe Coffey, we see him celebrating, and he's looking face to face with Obafemi. And so of course he tells Wesley that he gets his title match for the first and final time. He's going to see him in Heat Wave. And of course we see the D'Angelo family interview backstage. Tony D'Angelo is definitely confident retain the NXT Heritage Cup. We know Nathan Frazier is dangerous and fast, but of course Stacks and Luka gave him the game plan. He's going to see if it works. And so of course we have Nathan Frazier versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Heritage Cup. And round one, Nathan Frazier wins by first fall by pinfall. Then round two, D'Angelo wins the second fall, leaving 1-1. And of course after that, after Phoenix Splash, Tony D'Angelo is saved by the bell. And then of course D'Angelo wins the third and final fall by pinfall with a thrust spine buster going 2-1 and retaining the NXT Heritage Cup. Of course, we have Carmen Petrovic versus Roxanne Perez. We have Lola Vice making an entrance to join the commentary. Of course, Roxanne Perez of course defeats Carmen Petrovic by pinfall with pop rocks. Then we have, of course, we have Damon Kemp versus Tavion Heights. And Tavion Heights wins by pinfall with belly suplex, earn a spot in the no quarter catch crew. We also have Ariana Grace versus Sol Ruka, NXT Women's North American Championship #1 contenders match. Sol Ruka wins with a Soul Snatcher, becoming the #1 contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship, going up against Kalani Jordan in NXT Heat Wave. And so of course Kalani comes out and raises Sol's hand as she holds up her title as well. And of course Roxanne Perez storms into Ava Rain's office to reclaim her title belt and accuse her of orchestrating some sort of scheme, but Ava definitely puts it in place and tells her that she's going to be defending the title against the low-light Heat Wave. So, hey, so pretty much, you got what you asked for. Then we have Shawn Spears versus Trick Williams, and surprisingly, Shawn Spears defeats Trick Williams by pinfall with the C4 and pins the NXT champion with the C4. So of course that concludes the week in wrestling, and also I got to talk, that bring up the of course a shout out to Black Wrestling. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, of course a shout out to Black Wrestling for the BRP 50, and I'm gonna see if I can see if I can pull up the list pretty soon. And I must say that I was more than impressed. I was, saying like it definitely exceeded my expectations. Of course, Black Wrestling every year during Juneteenth, they never disappoint. They never cease to amaze me when it comes to BRP 50. I feel as though that this is, the crowning work, their magnum opus, if you will. As far as all the contributions that they make when it comes to Black Wrestling Twitter, and when it comes to space, I will say that the thing that so many people look forward to the most, look forward to the most when it comes to every year when it comes to them is the BRP 50. I even told that last year at BlurCon, and so of course here's the list as follows: the official BRP 50. Anyway, yeah. So of course, we was discussing the BRP 50, and I like the cover. It looks like an ESPN magazine cover with Trick Williams on the top, on the front. Of course, shout out to him for being, I consider, the most improved player from being unranked to being on the list and being very, very high on the list. I'm going to disclose that a little bit later on. But yeah, of course, here comes the rankings. Number 50, we have Andino. Number 49, Jocelyn Navarro. 48, Jordan Blade. 47, Shalance Royal. 46, Rio. 45, Eel O'Neal. 44, Jay Bougie, who went from number 50 last year to 44 this year. 43, Isaiah Broner. 42, Promise Braxton. 41, Leon Slater. 40, Charity King. 39, O'Shea Edwards, Big Bad Kaiju. That's number 39, O'Shea. 39, O'Shea Edwards. 38, Leo Rush. Of course, DMV's own high school graduate. Like I said, Leo Rush, number 38. Number 37, Max Caster. 36, Anthony Bowman. Of course, they rank right next to each other, just like last year. Number 35, man like Darius or whatever. It's one of the indie wrestlers. Number 34, Javon Evans, going by leaps and bounds. Number 33, Keanu James. 32, Wes Lee. Number 31, Danny B. 30, R-Truth. Number 29, Lever Frank Ocean, B. Moriarty. 28, Kofi Kingston. 27, Shane Taylor. 26, Kevin Knight. 25, Mr. NXT North American Champion. Of course, the Mountain himself, Oba Finn. I figured he was going to be the top 25. So that prediction was definitely right. Number 24, Queen Aminata. 23, Bobby Lashley. 22, Trish Adora. 21, Ricky Starks. 20, Brian Keith. Cowboy Brian Keith, of course. 19, AJ Francis. That's got to be the highest ranking he's ever had on that list. Top dollar, AJ Francis. Of course, number 18, Janai Kai. She's jumped up several spots. Number 17, Calvin Tankman. 16, Michael Oku, the Audro, that's what his name is. Number 15, Myron Reed. 14, Jay Cargill. 13, Khan. 12, Sugar Dunkerton. Of course, he's the new Pan-African Wrestling champion of the guy that defeated Trish Adora. So in number 12, Sugar Dunkerton, aka Sugar D. Number 11, the ultimate finesse, Chris Bay. Number 10, Ricochet. 9, Trey Miguel. Ricochet's highest ranking as far as I remember. Number 10, Ricochet. Number 9, Trey Miguel. 8, Alex Kane. Alex Kane, excuse me, I think tongue-tied. Number 8, Alex Kane. Number 7, the one and only, Mr. Darius Carter. Number 6, Athena. Number 5, Naomi. It's got to be the highest ranking I've seen her on. Number 5, Naomi. Number 4, Trick James himself, Trick Williams, Mr. NXT champion. Number 4, Trick Williams. Number 3, Willow Nightingale. Number 2, EST Bianca Belair. And number 1 is him, Carmelo Hayes. So that is your official BRP 50, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Especially because of the role that Melo has been on from from the time of the evaluation up until now. There's no denying it. You know what I mean? Of course, Bianca's always going to be Bianca, but it's just that there was always something extra when it came to Melo's game that just kind of gave him a slight edge. Willow Nightingale's improved significantly. Of course, Trick Williams once again improved tremendously. Of course, based off the criteria that they put together, that's the reason why the list is what it is, and that's the reason why Mercedes Moné didn't make it. Because clearly, she didn't have enough time in between that, to really qualify. And so, man, like I said, I'm very impressed. And there's definitely more than enough room for open to move up significantly higher in the future. So that, like I said, of course, that's it when it comes to the BRP 50. And of course, another thing I want to talk about, special announcement. I am going to be at this year's BlurCon on, like I said, of course, I'm honored to admit that I'm going to be on the panel for Dr. D's Wrestling Showcase as far as his Dream Panel that he does every year at BlurCon. So was yours truly that has been selected to be on that panel and talk wrestling. You know what I mean? We talk about this podcast and we talk about the things I like. You know, and just introduce myself and just let others know. As far as the things I'm doing on here, and so yeah, you know what I mean. Like I said, it's honor is something because I go to the panel every year, and so so for me to to be selected is an honor. I greatly appreciate Dr. D for the things that he does, his contributions to this wrestling community in general. You know what I mean. So like I said, hats off to him. Thank you very much, Doc, for having for having a great eye and an ear for talent. So like I said, so for me to be on there is an absolute honor. So once again, thank you very much. So now moving on, of course, we want to talk about. So with the time I have left, I bring it up, pop up and show them. As everybody is saying, you got to pop out and show them. And of course, last week, Kendrick Lamar had a victory lap. Victory lap last week at the Forum, at the Kia Forum, formerly known as the Great Western Forum, where the Lakers used to play. And he hosted the Juneteenth concert, Ken and Friends. And when I say that this was an absolute roast of Drake dancing on his grave, that's absolutely what it was. The thing is, I didn't see everything. I certainly caught up with the highlights of social media, and I'm gonna say it was hilarious for him to play "Not Like Us" 6 times, along with his greatest hits and everything else. It's from Euphoria, 616 in LA. You know what I mean? All Right. You know what I mean? Like just his like the greatest hits off his discography. I mean, it was tremendous. It was legendary. It's definitely one of the premier concerts of all time. I mean, like for him to dominate this feud the way he did, for him to not only win, but the way he did it. I mean, he's getting critical acclaim all across the board. From the OGs, from all the different hip hop aficionados, whatever the case is, you know what I mean, and just how he was able to meticulously pick Drake apart. You know what I mean, like just strategically, just mathematically, he's just like a surgeon when it comes to his wordplay. And he was able to just check off every box and just just use some of Drake's songs and references against him. You know what I mean? Like I was like, man, this is unprecedented, unheard of, man. Seriously, like I said, he was to me, he just used all these different Drake references against him when it comes to back to back, Family Matters, God's Plan. You know what I mean? Like just everything, and also I saw that something about like the CEO of the Recording Academy and saying that Kendrick could be up to win a Grammy for Not Like Us, and I called it. You know what I mean? I don't be the one to say I told you so, but I mean with the response that he's gotten, the momentum he's gotten, there's no surprise. It would be no surprise at all. For someone to win a Grammy, with a song where he doubles down and triples down, calls a man a pedophile, like that's unheard of, and the whole world is singing along with. Kendrick has the role in a sharpshooter, but Not Like Us. And like see, sometimes you gotta pop out and show him certified boogeyman and the one to run up the score with him, and I mean, like clearly he's definitely certified boogeyman, and he's run up the score on Drake with 56-7. I mean, straight up. I mean, this is transcendent, the work that Kendrick has been doing. And I saw of course, I saw all the different pictures, and different like group pictures that were taken at the arena. Everybody all together on the stage, and side by side, it reminds you of Kendrick's "To Pimp a Butterfly" album cover, where him and his, Kendrick and his crew are all outside the White House, sitting over the top of what looks like a judge. Dude almost looks like Ronald Reagan, on the ground. And so, but instead of that, you might as well have Drake on the ground at this point. I guess you could say was to pimp a Canadian, to bury a Canadian. Pretty much at this point, it's something that you might as well, have hanging in the Louvre, hanging in the National Museum of African American History and Culture. You know what I mean? And I was like, pretty much, if there's some way you can put in the African American History Museum, hey, look, man, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? And as far as that, and pretty much, like I said, this is definitely a victory lap, and Kendrick's a future first ballot Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, no question about it. So now I want to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom, and it has been announced that the legendary fighting game franchise will make a comeback, will make a return, but it's exclusively for PS4. So it is going to include Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is my favorite one, which is like a super stacked roster. It's going to include 3 as well as Infinite. So, and of course, it's going to be sometime at the end of the year. But and by the way, shout out to those that are on Twitter watching this. The numbers are definitely going up. Some of the highest numbers I've had in a while. But yeah, you know what I mean. So as far as that, I'm all for it. I'm definitely looking forward to, like I said, look forward to what they have in store. Even though I have a PS5, I'm willing to get this even on the PS4 console, and of course it's backwards compatible anyway. So like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to breaking that out. And that's definitely one of my favorite fighting games of all time, if not my favorite. It's just been tremendous, man. A whole lot of fun. So just to have that nostalgia, like I said, I definitely appreciate that. And of course, speaking of comics and anime and things like that, I want to give a shout out to Love Paper Doll on Instagram, because she had an event this past weekend in DC. Supporting anime and content creators and things like that, and so on. So of course, part of her event team, I believe, is called a Dollhouse Federation, and of course, Paper Doll is pretty much a cosplay legend out here. Someone who not only has beauty, but she also has brains. She's very savvy. She's very well known out here in these cosplay streets. That's all I'm saying. And so of course, I was proud to support her. When it came to this endeavor, not of course, not just because she's a woman, but also a Black woman as well. So all the support counts. So that's what it is. And so yeah, pretty much. So I want to make sure that I haven't left any stone unturned. But at this point, it looks like I've covered all the necessary ground that I can cover. Of course, thank you very much for those thank you very much for those that tuned in to watch the very impromptu early episode of Victoria's Women's Podcast. And also, again, I have to mention, tonight is the official night of the 2024 NBA draft. Yours truly is then locked in and tuned in, and I am on my way. So yeah, like I said, and of course, one last thing, I also have to say that yesterday marked 15 years since the death of the greatest of all time, Michael Joseph Jackson. R.I.P. to the King of Pop himself, greatest ever, you know, an icon among icons. There's leagues of everybody else. It's Michael Jackson and everybody else. You know what I mean? Thriller's the greatest album ever. You know, I mean, if you want to argue with that, you can argue with the brick wall. But yeah, you know, it's pretty much all I have to say at this point. So like I said, I want to say thank you very much for many of you that have been watching by way of X, and you know, a few of those that have been watching by way of YouTube. And of course, please make sure to, and of course, if you're on YouTube, please make sure to watch on the replay as well. And of course, if you're on iTunes and Spotify and any other platform, please make sure to make sure to follow this podcast and continue to listen for more great content. Of course, this is your host, King Bongier. Thank you very much. I'm signing off and have a great one.